All right, gang, for today we got kind of a weird one for a guy like me. It is a nail puller from, I don't know, 40s, maybe 30s. Looks like she's got a little bend in here, pretty good rusted, but it does operate. It says on it, Rex Jr., made in USA. It's got this hole back here. It's rusted. It was painted at one time, but that's pretty much flaked off, so quite a bit of restoration to do. However, everything moves and works. Now, some of you might ask, what the heck is a nail puller for? Obviously the name, it's for to pull nails. But how does it work? So I'll show you how it works. Let me get you in close. All right, so a 16 penny nail. Pound that in. Let me actually pound it in so the head is depressed. And that's hard to pull out. You can pull it out with various things, but it's hard to pull out. So you use your handy dandy nail puller. And this slides so that it acts as a hammer, right? So I'll try to do it sideways for you so you can see it. Okay? Right on either side of the nail, the little nipper head goes. And then I'm gonna hammer it. And when I hammer it, it pushes the little jaws into the wood. And you can pull it out like this, see? You can pull it out. There we go. So that's what that slide hammer is used for. Secondarily, you can also use it if you need more leverage, right? You're pulling something like this, you need more leverage, you can open her up and really put the wood to it. So that's how that works. Let's look at it a little closer. The jaws are in good condition. There's obviously some kind of spring-loaded deal that goes down here, and that works. And that's a heavy rivet there. It's not a screw, it's a rivet. So because that works pretty smoothly, I am not going to take that rivet out. The same can be said for up here. This piece is retained by a rivet. Let me see if I can show that to you. See the head here. There's the head of that rivet in this hole. Now I could get a drill or a mill or a carbide burr or something and go in there and machine off the head of that rivet and then punch it through. But it doesn't require that. It works pretty good. Everything seems to work. If this was stuck, maybe I would do that, but I don't think I am. So what I'm going to do, this has the very slight little bend to it. I'll put that in a vise and I'll straighten that out literally with a hammer. And then we'll just wire wheel this part down here, wire wheel this part up here. You can see here is that Rex Jr. made in the United States, so I probably don't want to take my belt sander across that part because I want to save that, so that'll be wire wheeled. I will probably belt sand this though. I can feel some pitting down here, and I'll probably sharpen the jaws. They're not too bad, quite honestly, but I'll probably sharpen them anyhow, and then basically we'll paint it. So let's get on with that. All right, I don't know if you can see it, but this part here has just the slightest bend to it. So what am I gonna do? Hit it with a BFH. Let's see if that did the trick. Boy, she's almost there. Almost there. Couple more slugs and I think I'll be okay. Oh yeah, that did her. That looks really good to me. All right, let's take her to the grinder first, I guess. Okay, so I got a 120 grit belt on the grinder, and I'm gonna be grinding right here, not on the platen. I want it not backed up because it's a round surface, so I want to, let it conform to the roundness of this when I grind it. So here we go. You can see it's got quite a bit of pitting that I wouldn't have been able to get out with the wire wheel. So I'm just going to go over this a little bit more here until I get off most of that pitting. All right, I probably wouldn't do this on something I'm going to use, but for the video, I think I'm going to try this. I'm going to take off my 100 grit and I'll put on my 220. This is a very fine belt, and it will give me a good finish on that that part there. I'm going to clean it with my belt cleaner first, and then we'll continue to march here. All right, almost time for a new wheel here. I do have all my PPE on, personal protective equipment, full face shield, not just safety glasses, because I don't want to catch one in the cheek. Big canvas apron on, and we will wire wheel the end here. See how that goes. Well, okay, with my wire wheel on its last legs, it did a pretty good job of cleaning that up. I'm gonna hit it a little more, and then I'll take this part over the other side of the buffer or grinder, and I'll buff this out just to give it a nice smooth finish. Just to tell you, this is all, these are not cast parts here. These are forged in machines. I can see the forging marks on them. I can't get all of the pitting out, but I think I can get it to a pretty good job. Well, that worked pretty good. Almost looks chrome plated. I am gonna give it a little more on there. You can see I didn't quite get all the pitting off right here, and then of course the end. There's only so much you can do, you know. And then we'll turn our attention to this handle here after I put a new wire wheel on that side of the grinder. Okay, I have a new wire wheel on. This is a brass coated wire wheel. These aren't actually brass, they just coat them in brass, I think, to stop them from rusting. And we'll get after that handle. Here we go. Geez, with that new wheel, that didn't take very long at all. There's some marks here. I think I'm gonna leave those in instead of grind them off. Just so, you know, I kind of like the look of them. So I'm gonna go after this a little bit more. You can see I got a little bit of spots right there. And then we will go to paint. All right, the painting process couldn't be simpler. Well, I guess it could be. I could just paint it black, but I always like to use a self-etching primer on any exposed metal. It really helps with coverage, rust prevention, and it wears really good. So I'm gonna put 2 coats of this on about an hour apart, let her dry overnight. Then I'll put 2 coats of this cheap gloss black I have. I thought about giving her a texture a little bit, like a texture black, but I think because this is a casting, not a forging, and it has some roughness into it, and so I think that will work fine. So let's get to the primer. I have this masked off as far as I need it masked off. We'll just primer this guy up. Paying special attention to the contours here. There and there. And then I'll hit the end pretty good. Okay. There's one more contour up here I want to go all the way around on. Getting low on paint here. You can see the big casting ding there. But I did go easy on the lettering when I was wire wheeling it, so that will remain standing out, and that's good. Okay, so we have 2 coats of primer on there. The etching primer looks good. It's 2 coats of black. We'll get the first coat here, and like I normally do, I hit the weird spots first. That helps me with the overspray. And I normally put on 2 pretty light coats. I don't want it to run. And you know, everything that I paint is weird shaped. You know, it's not like a cabinet's face or anything, it's just flat. So I always hit the hard parts first to get good coverage. So I'm hitting all the little nooks and crannies here first, including this end here. And then I'll go and hit it. Like so. All right, we'll let this dry an hour or so, and then we'll hit her with a second coat. Okay, I think the last thing I'm gonna do is sharpen the little grippers here. If you can see this as it comes together, it's off just a little bit right there. So I'm gonna hold this closed and just hold it against my wheel here a little bit to sharpen it up. There we go, much better. Now they're even. All right, and there you have it. I think it turned out fantastic. I cleaned it up just enough. This shaft here and these teeth all look nice and bright and shiny. That's not chrome plated, that's just the buffing job. And it's probably good for another 125 years of service. We'll just do the reveal here.